Hello and welcome to Champagne Channeling. Happy Friday. You guys, this is a special one. So I am so happy and honored to introduce Chelsea Holman to you guys. We are doing the Je Vois Retreat together in September. She is, I want to say, almost the opposite of me when it comes to being in the body. This woman is like a living fairy amongst us. I think that she is magical. When I'm around her, I want to go run through a field in a dress and like pick the little dandelions and blow them. There's something magical about her, and she is joining me today. So without further ado, I would like to introduce Chelsea. Chelsea, please tell everybody your business, what you do, and anything else that comes to mind.
Thank you, Jenny. That's so sweet. I feel like, running through a forest, that's what if I could spend my days doing anything, it'd be running through nature, dancing and singing. So so my name is Chelsea and my business name is AMARA Ritual. So I would classify myself as an intuitive channel and an embodiment guide. So I do a lot of channeling, not only with spirit, I also do a lot of channeling through my body, through movement, right? So I think there's many forms of channeling. I think many of us are channeling all day, every day, and may not even realize it, right? But I find that through movement, it's one of the most potent ways to not only channel and see ourselves as a channel, but to connect with our intuition, our body, our ancestry. The list goes on and on. So I definitely feel like it's more than a passion. I feel like part of the reason why I'm here, you know?
I 100% agree. And I think that you're correct. And I like feel my body wanting to move. Like there's a fluidity that you offer. And one of my life's work has been to get back in my body. And so Chelsea is leading the day 2 of our Je Vois retreat. And that's about aligning as in getting in the body. And I mentioned this today on the Champagne Channeling Live that I did on Instagram. And the body is grounded, but the soul and the spirit is ascended. And then the formula of combining the soul and the body together, that's what gets kind of messy. And so some people can be a little bit more in their spirit or in their body, and that shows up in different ways. And so tell me a little bit about your journey and how you got into doing this work, and how now you teach people, like the biggest thing you teach people about getting into the body and how it can benefit them.
Yeah. Well, since I was a little kid, I love dancing. I actually wanted to be a backup dancer. That was my dream job. And I, as a child, have so many memories of dancing in my bedroom, especially when I was experiencing emotions, or if there were things going on in my life that I just wanted to kind of like, it was my way of reconnecting, and it was my medicine. And I intuitively knew this without even realizing it, right? Like as kids, a lot of the things that we do, a lot of our hobbies, they're that way for a reason, right? So as the years went on, I was really involved in the music scene. I live in Seattle, so I went to shows multiple times a week, and I loved dancing. It was my outlet, right? And the older that I got, I started my career, and dancing started to kind of fall away, right? It was almost like I had started to forget about it. I started to focus all my time and energy on my career, on these other things. And as dancing fell away, I noticed that more anxiety started building in my body. My body was sending me physical signals of pain and aches and stress, right? I was really, I think ultimately had to take this journey of being pulled away to then have this journey of coming back to myself. So I started working with healers for my anxiety and these pains that I was feeling physically, right? And I had this one healer, she said, you know, your soul doesn't have enough space in your body. And when she said that, I was like, wow. And it was in that moment that I went home and I started dancing again. And I would sit in my room as a 30-year-old woman, and I would dance and I would listen to music. And what happened over days and months and years is I started having this remembrance, right? And it was through connecting to my body through movement that I transformed my life, that I literally embodied my fullest self. And like she said, my soul didn't have enough room in my body. I feel that the opposite it happened through movement, right?
I love that so much.
Yeah.
It feels so much in alignment too. I just took a class recently with James Van Prague, and he said the soul is 70% outside of your body. And, you know, I don't know how that looks with some people, like, you know, that see auric fields. I do know scientifically they've proven that people that are empaths or HSP, highly sensitive person, that their auric fields can go up to 30 feet outside of their body. And so like your soul is probably just very old and knowing and came here with such purpose and needs to move. And then when we get stuck into the humanness, we get like stuck, you know, like it's like we get stiff. And so what a beautiful story to return you to your calling, return you to, in a sense, home, like your soul.
Yes.
And what career did you have before? I feel like I know this.
Interior design.
Yes, the aesthetics.
Designer.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah. Because that still radiates all around you. Like you still have that innate, like beautiful essence and knowing, like just when you post things on Instagram, you tell a story, you take us on a journey, and it's
Oh,
different than what most people do, you know?
yeah, that's my favorite part. I'm definitely a dreamer at heart. I
Yes, you
excel
are.
in daydreaming. I
Mhm.
think that you're also a Pisces moon, is that correct?
Yes, I am.
This is me as well. I think that we need a lot of time spent daydreaming, right?
Mhm.
It fills our cup. And so my favorite is not just moving and dancing and creating spaces for others to move and dance, but sometimes I feel like watching dance is just as powerful when you can feel the energy flowing through someone's movements, like an art form, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
There was a show, you probably will remember it. It wasn't like Dancing with the Stars, but it was like a show that people would go and try to win the dance competition. And they would do different dances. Do you remember what that was? Like,
I don't know that one.
but I remember, because I've never really been into dance, but I like I said, like my work is getting like more in my body and
Yeah.
touching my toes someday if I can. But I remember there was different movements that like made me cry. Like they were like
Yeah.
I felt the story through their
Yeah.
movements, and it just touched me. I really loved that show. And so, and then even seeing you dance, like some of the stuff you post, I'm like, oh my God, she's so magical. Like you could bring tears to my eyes. And I am so excited for the retreat because it is going to showcase everything that you are so naturally. And you are doing the day that not only we're going to be in the vineyard harvesting grapes and giving everybody that Lucille Ball moment, but I think that doing it on the harvest full moon is going to be powerful. And
Yeah.
I've let you kind of take the reins. So I don't even know what is in store for us. And if you want to give us sneak peeks, you can, or if you still are like, I haven't downloaded it yet, that's not a big deal. I don't mean to throw you on the spot. But the fact that you and Amy are going to be working together and just taking us all through this full moon ceremony is and did you see the spot I picked? You're going to love it. Like it's like
Oh,
in the
yes.
forest.
I think I was messaging you and I was like, oh my gosh.
Oh, I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is you talked about getting emotional with them watching the movement. It's because I believe that when we move, it's our emotions in form, right? That's what
Mm,
makes a good dancers. They're evoking their emotions in their movement.
yeah.
And so, you know, in the list, I was right. I wrote a list once of all the benefits of dancing and all the ways that it can transform your world from the inside out. And I just kept writing and writing and writing. And it's one of the most, I call it a medicine because I believe it truly is a medicine.
Mhm.
There's so many aspects and so many parts of this ancient practice, right? And I think that's why I love it so much too, right?
And I feel like you've been doing it for lifetimes because you are so limber. And I don't know how tall you are, but you have to be like, you have to be pretty tall, right?
Yeah, I'm 6 feet. 6 feet.
Okay. Because your arms, and it's just like this, like you take up space in this like elegant, romantic, fairy way that I'm like, I mean, truly, I am so tight. Like, so I had to hire somebody to help me stretch because I am so tight. So when you talk about dance movement to somebody like myself, and I'm sure some of the listeners, what is your suggestion to us who don't have this like ability to stretch and like be, like I'll think I'm doing something and I'll see myself in a mirror or a picture and I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm not
Well,
saying you can't dance
that's
at
part
any.
of it, right? So the first word of advice that I have, so I teach guided intuitive movement. So I think
Mm,
a lot of times we think that movement has to look a certain way, right? And I think that's why a lot of us get caught up in what am I looking like? How are others perceiving me? And I feel like that is part of the medicine. And once you break through that, I feel like it shows in your movements even more because when someone's dancing and they feel those feelings or those insecurities versus when somebody feels really empowered, that comes through, right? That flow, that elegance. So there's times for me even where I'm like, what am I doing? This movement is crazy. But when I get out of my head and just let my body move, I feel like that's when those like really expansive forms come through. And yeah,
it resonates so much with me. Like I will think people are watching me in my own kitchen.
yeah.
Well, I do work with spirit, so you and I can laugh at that. Like they are. But you know what I mean? Like I think you're right. Like I think it's about releasing.
And that's it. I think people might look at me, others might look at me and think, wow, she's really confidently dancing and posting videos dancing. But I think what they don't see is the journey of getting there because I
Mm,
had those same feelings and fears and insecurities. And one of the most powerful things that I did was not just dancing alone in my room, but dancing in front of a mirror and looking at yourself. And
yeah.
and I feel like that's part of the process. It's part of these mini breakthroughs that you have through movement that it just
I
once you
love
start
that your
making,
kitty joined us.
yeah, this little black cat.
Oh, that makes me
I
happy.
know. She's really sweet. But once you start having these breakthroughs from within, it radiates outward. And I think it shows in your movements, whether your movements are traditional or not, because my movements are not traditional. They're very,
Mm-hmm.
I think, flowy, like you said, very fluid. I think that they come through from my ancestry. And I think that I love seeing somebody dance quirky and weird, but they're just feeling so
Mm-hmm.
good. So,
There's been some stuff that you posted that I think is like almost seasonal. Like I don't know if it was explosive, but I remember seeing one that was more like it felt like thunder, felt like there was something like a message like coming through. I don't remember when it was, but we've been in contact for a while now. Does that ring a bell? Was there one that was like kind of more like I don't know. I feel like there was like this like jolt.
probably sounds like me.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, most of it is very like beautiful and flowy.
Yeah.
What offerings do you have? Like how do people work with you and what does that look like?
So I offer group classes. They're guided intuitive movement classes. I do these online over Zoom, usually once a month. And I also do group workshops in person. So I'm doing a few festivals this summer, and I want to start doing more workshops in person outdoors. I've really been cultivating that. And I also, like you, I am a psychic medium, an intuitive channel. So I do one-on-one readings, uh, more personalized channeled sessions. And I'm also going to start offering mentorship as well. So this is kind of a mixture of my intuitive readings and embodiment. Yeah.
I feel like that is so in alignment for you. I'm excited for that chapter.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm excited too. And of course, the retreat coming up. Je Vois. So I'm really excited for that.
I'm so excited. You are so needed there. Like, I will take everybody to the clouds and we won't know how to get back.
Yeah,
We are having champagne channeling and I didn't even ask, are you having some champagne with me today?
I am. Well, I'm having a glass of wine here.
Beautiful. Oh, it looks like a little like sake um cup.
Yeah, it kind of is. It is. Yeah. It's like a little ceramic
Oh
cup.
my gosh, how beautiful. Well, cheers, Chelsea. I'm so glad you took the time to talk with me. And I feel flowy. Like, just, I think that people are going to hear it in your voice, like, oh, she feels like a bedtime story.
Oh, yes, yes, yes. I think that that is, you talked about being grounded, getting into your body helps ground
Yeah.
you, which it does. As well, it helps you kind of, I don't know how the right way to say this, but it can also take you out of your body. So
Hmm.
that's depending on how you're moving, depending on what you're doing, your intentions. You can use this practice to really ground, really ground into your body, and you can also use it to really ascend and
Yes.
and kind of
And I guess that's why I felt like you and Amy were going to work together so well, because of what the same thing breath work does. It
yes.
kind of has that same ability. And then like grounding into your body and like connecting like with the grapes in the vineyard. And then obviously the full moon I see as completely like making our energy very, very big. And I just don't even know how that's all going to look, but I feel like it's going to be a scene from Outlander.
Yeah, oh my gosh, I just started watching that show and I actually love it.
Oh, it's really good. It's really, really good.
Yeah, and the scene where the druid women were dancing in like the first episode, I was crying, I was bawling, I was like, this is so beautiful. And
Mhm.
it's true, when we dance in community, it's
Yeah. It
powerful.
really is. Yeah, I have this woman from Ukraine who is making us all the like floral crowns with like dried flowers and stuff. Just it's going to be a magical evening and I love that you're leading it and I know that there's going to be some major releases that night. It's I can't wait. Like, I'm really excited. It's summer, but I cannot wait for September.
Yeah. Well, it's so powerful. And especially as women, I think that culturally getting back into our bodies is important.
Yes.
I feel that there is a rebalance happening where this feminine energetics, the it's wanting to come through all of us. And I think that through dance we can really connect to the feminine energetics within us, right? Everyone carries this, men, women, and it's really important. And I'm really excited to see. I mean, even from one, I've seen people have breakthroughs even from one class
I'm sure.
and one session where we store these memories and these emotions within our physical body. It's not separate, right? And when you move, sometimes those can be activated or reawakened, or you can have these really aha moments, which are really powerful. So to have a safe space where you can explore that, I think is really important.
And what would be a way that, somebody that's hearing this for the first time and it's like, like, what is she talking about? What is something that we can start to practice at home with ourselves that just starts to get us a little bit more tapped into this energy you're speaking of?
Yeah. Well, so I actually, to give a little backstory, I enjoy yoga, right? But I remember going to yoga classes and feeling it was too structured,
Mm,
right? I like the poses felt too structured. I wanted to feel more free. So I started dancing in my bedroom alone. I didn't even go to a class. Like, this is the thing about movement, is you just need yourself. And so I started dancing alone in my room and to my favorite music. So whichever, if you have a favorite music or something that really lights you up and feels inspired to move, I recommend putting music on and having a space that you can just like call your own. If you have a family, telling your family even like, I need an hour of time I'll be in my room dancing, where you feel like you can totally let loose. And what I recommend is dance. Start
mhm.
dancing in your
Yeah.
room. And again, you'll see those moments and those thoughts coming through of what am I doing? What do I look like? Right. But when you start to let those go and really allow your soul to take over, right? Or set an intention. If there's an intention, like I really want to dance today and I want to feel empowered, or I really want to dance today and I want to let go of all of this stress that I'm feeling for the day, right?
Yes.
And spend even 20 minutes and you can see and feel the transformation that's taken place.
Yeah, and I want people to understand that, like, if you're not called to do this, that's totally fine. But if you're curious about this, it's because it's part of your blueprint and you need to move. And so this is like a daily vitamin. Like, it's not like we're saying like, oh, you should dance. It's like, no, you need this in your life to be your best self. And it's not silly or frou-frou or anything like that. Like, it's vital to your well-being. And I know, because of how tight my body is, that I need to move more. And when I do move more, and even if it's just walking for me right now, because maybe I'm just adolescent in my growth, that's when I start getting downloads. So I had to start learning to meditate by walking and having guided meditation. I could not just sit there. It was just, and so it's because the energy was so stuck. So I needed to open space up, and you open space up by movement. And so I just want you to know that, like, this work really is beneficial to everyone, but there's certain people that it's vital to.
Yes, exactly. Because you brought up a good point. If you're curious about this, it's probably because your soul is guiding you towards this.
Yes.
And I realize that someone else might be more into working out or playing sports, right? But it is really powerful, and it's true. You can just start, like you said, little doses in your day, little moments here and there, or maybe taking a break during your workday, or in the morning when I make my coffee, I put on music and I dance, right?
Yeah.
These little moments that really make an impact on our days. And I notice the times or the weeks or the days where I don't have my practice, I can feel it emotionally and physically. So
I think I'm remembering a fun thing that I used to do with friends, and I haven't done it in years, but the soul remembers. And so explore other genres of music and see how your body responds. And so I have a response to French music. I also have a response to salsa music. And so people joke that I like river dance to every genre of music, and it's because I like move my feet really fast, and like sometimes it looks like that, but sometimes it looks like salsa. And so it's like my body remembers footwork. Like I'm not kidding you, like 90s hip hop will come on and I will have footwork, and my other body still. I make it look decent. I promise you, I will show you when we are in Palisade together.
I'm curious now.
But I know, but it's been like, people laugh at me, but also like, you're making it look good, but what the hell are you doing? It's like, I don't know, my body is remembering something. So I think it would be fun to have like get on Pandora or something, and then each person steps up, and then you just get to pick just some random song and they have to move to it, and then rotate in just any genre, folk music, music from the church, whatever it is, because our body will respond. Our body will be the messenger. And that's just a fun game to just allow yourself to move.
I love that. It's true. Our bodies remember.
Mm-hmm.
And I would always hear this, and it didn't really resonate the same until I started actually noticing it. So my mother is Iranian, and she was adopted when she was like 3 years old, right? So I'm Iranian, but I don't feel as connected to that heritage because my mom was adopted by an American family, right? And I did notice that as I started dancing, my movements, my ancestry came through my movements.
Oh, I just got goosebumps.
Yes. So it's like your body remembers. It's
Mm-hmm.
in our cells and DNA.
Yep.
And this is the thing, is every culture, every single human on this planet has a lineage that is connected to movement and dance and sound.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's part of us, I believe.
Yeah, I absolutely believe it too. And I cannot tell you, like, I have like goosebumps still. I'm like, I hate when you get them on your legs, because that's like a truth for me. Like when I feel something that's like super truthful, or like I'm like goosebumps everywhere. It's like, yes. Oh gosh, it's so true.
Yes.
Oh my gosh. So I do feel like I could talk to you forever, but what is it that you would like people to know about your work? Like if you had to kind of wrap it up in a couple sentences about yourself, which I already feel you're like, I don't know, I don't want to talk about myself, but let's just talk about your work. And because you do shine, you really do shine. And it's this like effortless, beautiful, like flower in the sun. And so allow yourself to just like share with people what you love doing the most and how they can work with you.
So if I could sum it up, what I do, I am here to not only remember within my own remembrance, but to create spaces for others to remember.
Yeah.
And when I say remember, it's remembering who we are, remembering this, what's most important in life, remembering this connection that we have to ourselves, to our ancestry, to our souls, to the earth, right? So that in a nutshell is what I do. And I love channeling. I love ancient wisdom and universal concepts and philosophy. I love art and creativity. So I really love blending all of those, not only, philosophy and art and, these helping people remember, but kind of combining all of it into this cohesiveness. And I think because I'm doing what my soul came here to do, I think that's maybe why that comes through, right? Because I'm so passionate about it and it lights me up. And there's nothing that I enjoy more than also seeing that through others. There's
Yeah.
nothing more. And we are all, I believe, part of this big puzzle, but we are each an individual puzzle piece. And if each person feels the confidence and feels empowered within themselves to shine their truth, to shine who they are, no matter what it looks like, no matter of what others may say or think, that to me is like, that to me is the most beautiful thing in the world. That to me is like my purpose. So
Oh, I so agree. And I love it. And you are like an artist. You are like almost like a purposeful or artist of purpose, or you help people paint their story. Like I keep hearing the word storyteller. And so it's like you have so much wisdom already within you. And I'm sure spirit always uses that. But then when you're also channeling beyond your consciousness, beyond your mind, and then enveloping it with what you already know, and then reading for someone else, it's like you begin to help them tell their story in this very beautiful poetic way. And who wouldn't love that? Like who wouldn't want every piece of that?
that's so true. And I think that the powerful thing is, I think we think that we have to channel through our words,
Mm-hmm.
but there's an energetic resonance that happens. And I think that when you see someone move or see someone in their element doing what they love, they're channeling and they're radiating that energy, and you're also watching and you're remembering, right?
Yep.
Wow. And so these little snippets, right? It's kind of like I'm seeing like somebody walking about their day and just leaving little breadcrumbs behind of, you know.
Gosh, I just love
Yeah.
it. Oh, yes, I get it. I get it. This is, some people are going to resonate so deeply with this, and then we're going to lose some people. And I guarantee the people that resonate have water in their chart, because this is like heavy Pisces moon conversation through and through. And then I have a Cancer sun. Don't you have a Scorpio in your big top three, or no? Do you have any other water?
I have a lot of Scorpio in my chart, but not in my top three.
Okay.
Sagittarius sun, Pisces moon, Taurus rising.
Taurus rising. I remember that now, because that's the strong aesthetic.
Yes.
And I'm a Leo rising.
That's
So
right.
we've got that like when we walk in a room, people notice us. And depending on the day, if we're like in our Pisces, we're like, don't look at me. And if we're in our Taurus or Leo, we're like, oh, hello.
Exactly. Well, it's true. Like the Pisces are the dreamers, but there's a visionary quality. and
Mm-hmm.
especially with other things going on in your chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
And that's true that I've seen myself as a visionary, right? Where all my life, maybe you've been told this too, I've asked, why are things this way? Why is it like this? And I've always been told, well, this is just the way it is. And in my mind, I'm like, no, it doesn't have to be. So I
Yes.
think Pisces, yes, we are watery and flowy, but we also have these big dreams and big ideas.
I
And
think that's a combination with your Sagittarius, to be honest, because I am more of, I'm a Cancer. And so I just am like, for instance, I never think about the how because I don't imagine a life where I can't have what I want. That sounds like I'm spoiled, but I'm not. It's just such a dreamer to the extent that anything that would get in the way of my dreams is like, but there's no space for that in my existence. And this is a silly example, but before we jumped on, I was like, let's go out to dinner. It's Friday night to my husband when I'm done. And he said, where are we going to get in on a Friday night? And I'm like, wherever I want to eat. Like, it's like, what I would never think that. I would never think that. We're just going to go and get front row parking and walk in and there's going to be a table. And then, and that's how my life is. But then when you combine it with other energies and, me having an open solar plex and human design and stuff, I pick up on all that. And then I can get derailed because I'm absorbing everyone's energy. So my Pisces serves me in the way that I'm a visionary almost like for my own life, but not planetary visionary. But like the Sag is always, the Sag is like, I want to climb to that mountain and see the view, and then I want to climb to that mountain to see the view from there. And a Cancer is like, we're gonna stay home.
That's so true. I know. This is why I love astrology too, is because it's one thing looking at our sun sign or our top three, but once you dive in,
it's amazing.
I know.
It's amazing. And I just did the champagne channeling with Luscious Vessel, and they did the human design chart for me. And I had it read a long time ago, but it was a nice revisit. And it's like, oh my gosh, like some of the things that you have shame around or hangups around, and then you get your chart and it's like, this is your blueprint. So you should probably like kind of take it in and realize like, this is who you are, and to accept it. And, there is gone wrong, gone right, the shadow and the light side of everything. But when we come in with this blueprint, this human design, and then, we have our conditioning, our upbringing, our parents, all that, and get called to the inner child work later on in life. Saturn returns is a big one. But I think that is when we have to go back and say, oh, I pushed these buttons. They didn't respond to me, but that's still me. I'm going to claim it. I'm going to own it.
Yeah, exactly. And it's interesting because sometimes those things can be the hardest to step into, or we can have the most resistance towards them. And then once we do, we're like, wow.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, everything's aligning. Oh my goodness. Like, I love doing this. It lights me up. Why have I not been stepping into this further? Oh, because of this, right?
And when you think of like 7-year-old Chelsea and her dancing and her living in her essence, and then this lifetime, and then the moment you return to her, it's like, right then that fast. Like, yes, there was healing. Yes, there was integration, but the energetic like recognition happens that fast. It's like, I remember, oh my gosh, I'll never abandon this aspect of me again.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Love it. Oh, this is good. This is good. Okay. So please share your Instagram handle, your website, so people do know how to contact you or book an appointment if they want to have a mediumship reading, an intuitive reading, or can they work with you in this kind of dancing embodiment modality over Zoom? Or is this something you only do in person?
Yes. So my Instagram handle is amara.ritual, and that's where I post a lot of the information on things that I'm doing, like retreats or workshops and classes, but it's also where I use it. It's almost like my altar.
Yes.
I create a lot of my artistic expression is held in that space. And then you can also find me at amararitual.com. And I actually hold most of my sessions online over Zoom.
Okay.
So my goal is to reach others no matter where we are on the planet, right? We have these capabilities and it's just as powerful over the internet as it is face to face, right?
Mhm.
So while I am feeling called to do more in-person events, I'm still going to hold one-on-one sessions and workshops over Zoom as well, because I do want it to be accessible, because I know, we are meeting others, especially with the internet and Instagram, I have best friends that I haven't even met in person, right?
Aw. And
Yeah.
we met through a Canadian platform, and I'm in Colorado and you're in Oregon,
Washington, and I'm
Washington.
in Seattle, yeah.
Yeah.
Washington.
So I think that I mean, look at how that connection was made, and it's just beautiful and I love it. So anybody in Washington that is drawn, please follow her. It's AMARA .ritual. And so
Yes.
Amara Ritual is the Instagram, and then her website, and obviously online offerings. And if you are going to join us in Je Vois Retreat in September, you will be meeting her in person and get to experience all of her magical medicine, which I will be with you right there. And I cannot wait. I cannot wait.
That's
Ugh.
good.
All right, well, raise your glass. Let's have one last cheers. Happy Friday to you. Oh,
Cheers.
I
Happy
love you.
Friday. Thank you, Jenny.
You are so welcome. So
So
let's close it there. They know how to reach you. And if you want to end with one little note to tell our listeners, what would it be?
okay. If I had one, no. What came to me is one step at a time.
Perfect.
One
Yes,
step at a
one
time.
step at a time. I love it. Move,
This journey.
move, move, move. Your body wants it, your soul wants it, and it can only bring great things and healing. All right, I will see you guys in the next episode. And Chelsea, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Jenny.